Hey, welcome back to the Debt Sucks podcast. I'm Ben Matthews, bankruptcy attorney, professional debt slayer, and your guide through the part of money nobody puts on Instagram. This is the show where we talk about money like real humans, not spreadsheets, not gurus, and definitely not with judgment issues. Now, if you're listening to this around the time it drops, congratulations. We're about to jump into America's most confusing group activity, daylight saving time. Spring forward. You know the drill. We lose an hour of sleep. Everyone complains like it was personally stolen from them. Coffee sales spike, productivity drops, and we all agree to be slightly angry for about a week. We adjust the clocks, we complain, we drink more coffee, and then we move on. But here's what hit me this year. We lose 1 hour and everyone notices. We all talk about it, we feel it, we complain about it, but people lose years to debt and barely register it until they are exhausted, burned out, stressed out, and staring at their bank app like it personally betrayed them. That's wild. So today we're talking about time, energy, and money, and why spring forward might be the best excuse you'll get all year to stop bleeding all three and finally take some control back. Because losing an hour is annoying. Losing your life to debt, that's optional. So let's get into it. Segment 1. You didn't just lose an hour, you've been losing time quietly. Let's start with the obvious. Losing 1 hour of sleep feels personal. You wake up tired, your brain is running on dial-up, your patience is gone by 9:12 a.m., and by lunch you're asking yourself, why does this get harder every year? Now here's the uncomfortable part. Debt does the exact same thing. Not loud, not dramatic, no warning sirens, quiet. Debt doesn't show up like a car crash. It shows up like a slow week in a tire you keep pretending is fine. You don't notice it at first. You adjust. The minimum payments that never move the needle, credit cards you swear you'll handle next month, buy now, pay later plans bleeding in the dark, subscriptions quietly drafting your check account every 30 days. Nothing feels urgent until everything feels heady. Until one random morning you're staring at your bank app thinking, I make decent money, so why do I feel broke, tired, and behind all the time? That's time theft. Debt doesn't just take your money, it steals future hours of your life. Extra shifts you didn't want, extra stress you didn't need, extra 2 a.m. worry sessions where your brain runs worst-case scenarios on repeat. And here's the most dangerous part. You don't feel it all at once. You feel it slowly, quietly, relentlessly, like daylight fading until one day you look up and realize it's darker than it should be. Segment 2. Spring is when avoidance gets expensive. Spring is a funny season. On the surface, it's all hope and fresh starts, longer days, better weather, that maybe this year I'll get my life together energy. But underneath, spring is when avoidance starts charging interest. This is when I hear the same lines every week. It's like clockwork. I'll deal with it after tax season. Hey, once things calm down. I just need to make a little more money first. I'm not ready to look yet. And listen, none of that makes you reckless or stupid. It makes you human. But here's the part no one likes to hear. Waiting doesn't make money problems smaller. It makes them older and more expensive. Interest doesn't pause because you're overwhelmed. Fees don't care that life is busy. Late notices don't respect your mental health. Stress does not wait for a better time. Debt doesn't need your attention. It doesn't need your motivation. It just needs your permission to keep growing quietly in the background. And spring forward is the reminder nobody asked for. Time is moving. Money is moving. And whether you're ready or not, the clock isn't waiting on you. Quick check. Are you delaying or deciding? So here's a pop quiz. No calculators, just be honest. How often do you catch yourself saying, I'll deal with it after things settle down? I just need to feel less stressed first. Once I have a little more margin, then I'll start. If you answered all the time to any of those, congratulations, you've identified your delay language. And here's the brutal truth. Those phrases don't mean planning. They mean nothing changes. They're not strategies. They're stall tactics dressed up as self-care. Real progress doesn't wait for motivation to show up dressed and caffeinated. It starts messy. It starts uncomfortable. It starts before you feel ready, because momentum doesn't come after action. Momentum comes from action. And the longer you wait for the perfect moment, the more expensive later becomes. Segment 3, how to spring forward with the Debt Sucks plan. Now let me slow everyone down for a second. Spring forward does not mean fixing everything this week, becoming a budgeting wizard overnight, turning into a money influencer by Monday. This is not a new you in 7 days podcast. Spring forward means intentional movement. Here's how we do that with the Debt Sucks plan. Step 1, stop the bleeding. So before you fix anything, you need clarity, not judgment, not shame, not a lecture from your inner critic. Honesty. And yes, this is the part most people avoid like it's a root canal with Wi-Fi. Here's what honesty actually looks like. Opening your bank account instead of guessing, looking at your credit cards without flinching, listing subscriptions that quietly rob you every month, seeing where your money actually goes, not where you wish it went. Most people don't skip this step because it's hard. They skip it because they're afraid of how to make them feel. But here's the truth nobody argues with. Money problems grow in the dark. Avoidance is expensive. Clarity is uncomfortable, but temporary. And you can't protect what you refuse to look at. Reality check. Not a timer. So set a 30-minute timer. You're not fixing. You're not optimizing. You're not judging past you. You're just observing like a detective, not a defendant. Because clarity alone lowers anxiety. And once the lights are on, the monsters shrink. So step 2, build energy before you attack. This is where almost everyone screws it up. They jump straight to, which debt do I kill first? But if you're one flat tire, one medical bill, or one bad week away from panic, you're not attacking anything. You're in survival mode. And survival mode makes terrible financial decisions. That's why we build a shit happens fund first. Not a 6-month emergency fund. Not a Pinterest perfect savings goal, just enough money to breathe, because you can't fight when you're gasping for air. When panic drops, confidence rises, and when confidence rises, good decisions follow. Even $500 changes behavior, not because it fixes everything, because it buys mental space. And mental space is the most underrated asset in personal finance. Step 3, make one intentional move. This is the spring forward moment. Not a makeover, not a full life overhaul, not new you by Monday. One move. Because trying to do everything is how people do nothing. So pick one. Kill one small balance. Cancel 3 subscriptions that forgot they weren't invited. Set up one automatic transfer that pays future you first. Freeze that one card that keeps starting problems. Say no to one expense you don't even enjoy. Spring forward isn't about motivation. It's about direction. And you don't need a perfect plan. You need a first punch. And once you land one clean hit, well, momentum shows up fast. Because spring forward doesn't mean doing everything. It means doing one thing on purpose and finally breaking the cycle. Segment 4. True wealth loves daylight. Let's talk about the kind of wealth nobody flexes online. True wealth. No highlight reel, no screenshots, no humble brag captions, just real life getting lighter. This is the stuff that actually matters. Sleeping through the night instead of doom scrolling your bank app. Fewer money fights because you're not constantly on edge. Opening your bank app without a pit in your stomach. Knowing a surprise bill won't knock you flat. True wealth doesn't post receipts. It doesn't chase likes. It doesn't need validation, because real wealth isn't flashy. It's quiet. It's steady. It's peace. And I want you to sit with this for a second. True wealth isn't daylight savings. It's daylight freedom. Freedom from reacting to every sawtooth crisis. Freedom from living in a financial fog. Freedom from pretending everything's fine when it's not. And here's the part I want you to hear clearly. If things feel calmer than they used to, if you're thinking instead of panicking, if you're making progress without needing applause, you're not behind. You're building something real. So here's the reality check. Track peace, not just dollars. Ask yourself, am I calmer than I was 6 months ago? Do I panic less when something unexpected happens? Do I make decisions with more confidence, even if they're uncomfortable? These are wealth metrics. And if those numbers are moving in the right direction, you're winning, even if nobody sees it yet. Segment 5, the emotional side of time and money. Let's get something straight quickly. Losing an hour of sleep makes people cranky. Living with debt makes people exhausted. So if you're tired, overwhelmed, snapping at people you love, or avoiding your money like it's a toxic ex, that doesn't mean you're lazy. It means you're carrying too much. Debt isn't just math. It's emotional weight. It's the quiet shame, the constant fear, the guilt spiral, the comparison game where everyone else looks like they've got it together. And here's the part nobody tells you, but everyone needs to hear. You don't fix money problems with guilt. You don't shame your way into peace. You fix them with clarity, because clarity turns the lights on. Lights kill fear. Fear is what drives bad decisions, and bad decisions are what keep people stuck in the dark. This right here, this work you're doing, this is the way out. This is how you move from survival to control, from winter to spring, from fog to daylight. Sunnier days don't show up by accident. You build them. One honest look, one calm decision, one step forward at a time. And that's how you start winning again. All right, let's get into today's listener question. Ben, you talk a lot about true wealth, but it feels hard to measure. How do I know if I'm actually building it or just telling myself I am? This is such a good question because true wealth doesn't show up on a credit report. Here's how you know you're building it. You panic less when something unexpected happens. You stop making emotional money decisions. You don't need to explain your choices to everyone. You feel calmer even if the numbers aren't perfect yet. True wealth shows up in behavior, not balances. If your stress is going down, your confidence is going up, you're thinking long term instead of surviving week to week or month to month, you're building it, even if it's quiet, especially because it's quiet.
Hey, let's get real for a sec. The Debt Sucks plan, it's awesome. It works, but not everyone has the time or the patience to chip away at their financial Mount Everest. Maybe you're drowning right now, like creditors calling your grandma, paycheck gone before it lands, sleepless nights count as drowning. Sound familiar? Listen, you don't have to white knuckle your way through this alone. Instead of spending years battling debt $1 at a time, I've got you. Bankruptcy isn't a failure, it's a fresh start. And sometimes hitting reset is the smartest thing you can do. At my law firm here in South Carolina, we take the time to listen to your story and help you figure out if bankruptcy is the right choice for you. No pressure, no judgment, just straight answers and real solutions. And if you don't live in South Carolina, don't worry. I can connect you with a trusted attorney in your state. Wherever you are, help is closer than you think. So if you're ready to stop the stress and start fresh, visit debtsucks.info to share a little about your situation or call my office for a free consultation. Let's find your path forward together, because sometimes you don't need a plan, you need a damn lifeline. Let me be that lifeline.
1 hour, one decision. Daylight savings time hits in a few days. You're about to lose an hour, whether you're ready or not. So here's your assignment before the clock changes. Give your money one intentional hour. Not perfection, not a full financial makeover, not some unrealistic master plan. One honest look, one real decision, one step forward, because the clock is already moving. You don't get to vote on that. But you do get to decide what to do with your money next. Bring forward isn't about your sleep schedule. It's about taking your time back, starting now. If this episode hit home, do me a favor. Subscribe to the Debt Sucks podcast so you don't miss what's coming next. Like the episode, follow the show, and share it with someone who's tired of being tired and ready for something better. And make sure you're back here next week, because something big is coming. Something we've been building for a while. And if this conversation about time, money, and true wealth matter to you, you're not going to want to miss it. And remember, adulting is hard. Debt makes it harder, but taking back your time, that's how true wealth is built.